improvised homes. There are also a couple of tunnels that are just kind of damp. They always have some water in the bottom of them, so they're places that you could go where you're like, oh, we're close to the action, but no one's living here currently. That's the general spread if you're trying to figure out where you want to be looking at things.
Just to be clear, the idea behind these force fields basically is trap them in there and just like send in a death squad team to basically...
That seems to be it. It's like the void shields mean nobody can go into an area once it's purged. They can just kill everything under here, and then they wall off an area, so they'll put military guys blocking off all the exit tunnels, and then they'll send teams in and kill everybody.
Great. So void shields up, have actual live crew in there to block any other exits.
As you had seen the void shields on the way in, they don't have live crew, but they are a void shield generator that's been placed, and it projects the shield blocking off the tunnel. So you're on the other side of the shield, so you don't have access to the generator if you're approaching from this side. I will say, can I get an athletics from it?
Okay, it's now 16 minutes over 18 o'clock, so 6 o'clock, and I worked a little extra today to finish a job.
Dice 14, 10, 14,
28.
Oh, can I have your dice?
I don't know if I have your dice.
Insane.
I have a +0 to athletics, that's what it is.
I will say, you all make good time. It's not exceptional time because we're looking in that like 10 to 14 range, but solid time. You don't have any extra delays, which means you do have a little time to try to like fuck around and set something up over here. So you kind of got that like 20-minute range where you can choose where you want to be and if you want to set something up. The other thing that stands out is Morgan. You have a lot more to do with Romeo in this space than you had originally anticipated because there are a lot of tunnels and they have a lot of small spaces, so you have the ability to scout in a way that other teams would not if they were put in this circumstance, because you can send Romeo up to 100 feet in any direction and see what's going on. I will also say, at 20, you find that there are some vents that you can travel through if you need to Dell is celebrating more than anyone's ever celebrated. But you find that there is a ventilation system here in this section which would allow you to go up and through the walls. You are the person who is able to do that. It would take you out of harm's way in one way, but it would also take you out of the ability to
finally I'm done with this advanced job.
You plug it into the data slate immediately asks you for a password.
I think it's like
You do have the rest of your crew available on Microbeat who are looking, I imagine, from the other side of the void shield at this happening.
oh yeah, she'll never be back to them. It's a password. How do I access it by the data slate? Judge, any ideas?
Could I look through my data slate from what the judge would have had, the previous judge might have had? He would have had access, I would assume, to some security protocols to keep these monsters in check.
That's right. Okay. Roll me a d8. You want a low number.
Since it's so late now,
Should I use that? That's an 8.
there is not much traffic, so I can take the other way home,
8.
which is only an hour.
They are elaborate codes that are built in.
So I save about 20 minutes.
Data slate, should you so need, you can type them in very quickly for this day at this hour. This is the override that the Arbites have access to. It's not guaranteed that these will work, but these are high-level codes. So you have 8 options. I'm not going to read you out the codes themselves because they'd be way too complicated in terms of binary for this to be interesting. But you have your options are Alpha, Beta, Gamma, Domina, Quintus, Sextus, Imperator, and Crimson.
All right. I relay that to everybody. This judge is by, what do we know about this judge? By the book, fair-minded, logical. If he programmed in these codes himself, or actually, this doesn't even say that
He died before the work started.
Yeah. But, like, oh yeah, maybe he also like made these codes too. No,
But it could be. This is the thing. The entire system is built around assumptions of imperial authority, unless they recoded something entirely. And you haven't seen enough of a Mechanicus presence to think that they're recoding things willy-nilly. Again, that's not a thing that would generally be done. These void shields, there's also just a lot of them. And when you have a lot of something, they tend not to be individually, like big, finely crafted, perfect safes no one can get into. So there is a chance that these codes could work. There's also a question, if you start this, how many times do you get to try a code?
that's when I'm also, that was my follow-up question. I want to know.
And the machine does not say, it says, enter code. Is it alphabet or numerical?
It's binary. Oracle.
Right. There was a phrase used in the Heretic communique in our last mission that I omitted. Wasn't sure what kind of power it held, but if our missions are at all linked in purpose, then perhaps this phrase is being used here as well. Try entering Hydra Dominatus.
Let's give it a shot.
I'll enter it. Or we'll put that in there.
You have full access to the mission controls.
All the farmers are
Deactivate.
spraying
Activate.
water on the
You can
fields.
hypercharge it if you need to, or you can choose the level of power that is being dedicated to it.
They mean you've solved it. It is worrying that these things are connected.
I'm beginning to think I understand Valentine a little more.
Yes. Alright. We have full controls over it.
So you have the ability, if you wanted to, with what the controls will let you do. You can keep the shield exactly as strong as it is now. You can hypercharge this so that if even more is being thrown at it, it's in place. It won't be able to do that forever, but you can draw more power. You could also deactivate it, so you can take it down to 0, or you have a percentage control. If you want to keep this at about 15%, because you'd be able to play around and you know a little bit about void shields because you have been trained previously. You were trained for a brief period of time by New Omicron 8008, a Mechanicus who was sent to your prison who taught you about void shields and some naval combat. You were able to run sims and learn how to shift shields around on void craft. To give you an idea of kind of if you were piloting anything between L1 and kind of the Lucky Strike, where you don't have full void shield powers, it's like, do you throw them forwards? Do you throw them backwards? How quickly can you do that? Those kinds of things. You know that if you were running a shield at 15 to 20% with this kind of void shield, it's almost impossible to visually determine between a low percentage and the shield at full strength. So if you were to run this at 10%, it takes work to move through it because it's designed to bounce off kinetic force. But if you move slowly, it feels like shit. It feels like you are slowly electrocuting yourself as you walk through it. It will do very minimal harm, but you would actually have a void shield that visually works, but you could travel through.
Perfect. I think that's exactly what Morgan wants, is like knowing the exact level at which you can turn it down.
Yeah.
That it still visually looks the same.
What that would mean is anyone passing through the field would risk 1d4 electrical damage, if we're talking mechanically about this. Some very mild damage, but it would mean anybody could get through this.
That's perfect, because then we have not tipped our hand. This isn't just a shield that's out that someone's going to investigate. I think that's the best course of action.
You have this in place. So the big question becomes, yet again, the big decision. You have your hidden way out. You have your access to this void shield station. Where do you want to position yourselves? In one of the major thoroughfares where you're looking at the markets, more attention, in one of the side areas where there are homes and shanties that have been built, or in one of these kind of dead-end spaces that's near everything but a trip away from it. How trapped do you want to be?
Would we, just before, like, time crunch wise, would we have time, now that you're on the other side of the void shield, would you have time to send Romeo down and see if he can see any remains of anything from a previous purge zone? And would that give us some, like, oh, this is what's going to happen?
Like a path that they went through.
Yeah, or like if we see any evidence of, like, bodies or...
But I have an interesting team. If you deactivate this void shield, would have time to theoretically travel down the corridor, see if you can find bodies, check it out, and get back just as the purge starts. But you will be starting at this void shield away from, a range away from where everybody is. Or you can pick your placement within these tunnels to be ready for when the purge starts. Information or an ideal location. I'm interested to hear your characters discuss this. Morgan, you realize this timing. We'll say Solomon was the one who asked if it was possible to look at bodies. If you want to ask that question, actually, that's beautiful.
Oh, yes. Morgan, do you think you have time to send Romeo down the tunnel? Or maybe we could all go and investigate something? Do we think we have the time to make a little reconnaissance work? Or do you think it would be better to get us back and locked into location for when the purge starts?
I think that there's only just enough time to do one or the other. We can either
It's been a
set
while
up
since
an
I've
ideal
been
location
here.
to see what is going on.
It's a nice
Or
place.
We can investigate the past
The guy having the cabin there
but
next to
not
the lake.
be in
Or,
position when things kick off.
yeah, it's a lake.
I think that we've done all we can here with the void shields. It's a matter of if we want
There
to be
used to be a
able
hotel
move
to the right
through,
side,
have a
on
good
the right side, I think,
vantage point,
but it
or
has been
try to get more
demolished.
information. Judge Damien, thoughts?
I think when it comes to the mission, our safety is paramount, not the safety of everyone else. So I would say we position ourselves. That secures us.
The connection of Hydra Dominatus to these void shield generators implies a deep network of heretics and cult activity.
Yes.
This was a phrase used in a communication I found the Flame Man relaying about our heretic being sent to a benefactor.
Yes. It seems that we may be encountering some cult or demonic activity down here very soon.
Aye, and cults and demons need imperial souls to feed on and corrupt for strength. If we leave these people now, fuel for the cause of the enemy.
Let us put ourselves in a position where we can do the most protection and damage once things happen.
Understood.
So I think we want to be near the middle of what's going on, but I guess if we can get some height on it, if we can get some overlook, but we do want to be able to see what happens right at the beginning.
All right, so you make your way to the central thoroughfare, kind of the biggest tunnel at the middle of this space that stretches the full length of this zone that is about to be purged. It's 2 stories tall, has a number of structures along the edges, some of them, selling skewers of, you don't want to know what the meat is, but like they're selling it. There are pubs, there are kind of small clothing shops, like tailors, cobblers, all these kind of businesses. A number of them have built up and are 1 story tall. So if you're looking at positioning yourselves within this, do you want to be on top of a business? Do you want to be in between 2 of these kind of stalls off to the side? Do you want to be right in the middle of the road? How do you want to position yourself? Are you planning to kind of have a fluid reaction where you're just going to travel as a group and be in the middle? Or do you want to create kind of Overwatch positions and kind of be a little more locked in?
Speaking for myself, crowd control tactics are my specialty. I think we should do a formation a diamond formation. That way we all have each other's backs. That way we can press against the hordes that we come against. And we also have a relatively decent vantage point.
Perfect. Judge, take point and arrange us.
Damn right, yes.
If there's a moment while Morgan is running back, she wants to write a message to Beatrice, and it's just saying, the void shield that I pinged has been compromised. Are you still able to get messages out once the purge starts?
They lock down the comms. It's now or never.
And then she'll just say, we'll see what happens.
There is no response.
We're gonna have to hurt these people ourselves if it comes down to that, which, thank you, Judge.
What does this diamond formation look like? You are standing at the center of the bottom of this rounded kind of tunnel is flat. It's the equivalent of like a lane and a half of traditional highway traffic. A lane and a half, two lanes for people to actually turn on before you have these kind of stalls that are anywhere from 6 to 10 feet deep on either side. They are, again, 1 story tall. There's nothing built any further than that. A lot of these structures, your guess would be, Judge, because you have the most experience with these kind of like shanty towns and things that have been built in the hives. They're selling somebody built a story one and they structure. So in between these buildings, there's about a 5 or 6 foot gap between each of them. For a little smaller, you can find some that are like 1 foot or 2 feet, but generally there's space between these stalls, and you've got kind of 2 lanes worth of our traditional car traffic, plus maybe 3 to 6 feet, depending on the width of the stalls on either side.
So there's like 2 lanes?
I'm talking in terms of width. If you're thinking about like the width of the space, it's not like people are walking in 2 lanes, people are milling about. But to try to explain it in terms of feet, it can get kind of abstract, whereas I'm like, if you imagine a 2-lane highway width of traffic,
Oh, okay,
it's not actual lanes.
That's great, yeah. No, go through the middle, and diamond formation, I'm taking point at the front.
Great.
In the fray, bulky, I can push people aside, clear a better vantage point. When we get any weirdos, we can trap them inside the diamond.
Yeah, we're
push them
now
out,
driving
push to other
by,
people,
or
and then
we have the
we don't have
Tyrifjorden
people where we can just
to our
go
right
big
side.
flank line. That's for the huge army of arbitrators.
So you're positioning yourself looking towards, kind of looking in the direction of the non-void shielded areas. You're looking towards where the troopers are because I imagine that's where the assault's going to come from.
Yes.
You are at point. Who is the rear of the diamond? Again, you are surrounded and in the middle of a tunnel, so it's not as clean a like back as otherwise. It's not like you're backed against a wall.
Right. Everybody has dark vision.
Everyone has the ability to see, yes.
So that's good. I'm going to place Damien at the back because he can see more, and he's also really tall. And so Morgan and Brother Solomon are going to be at the sides.
Morgan, when you trained with the judge, did you find yourself on his right when you started doing room clearing training with shields, or on his left? Where would you go naturally?
Which are we shielded?
I'm playing it like myself, right-handed.
So shield on the left arm, shotgun on the right, because he can man that and use that way.
The not shield side, which to me would be his more open side.
Yep, so you'd be on his right. Fabulous. So she's on your right, because that's where Morgan normally is.
Great.
find Solomon on your left, and then you are flanked by stalls and people who are milling about, who are holding in position. Is there anything? I'd love to hear what you say to your troopers as you put them in position and prepare them for what is happening as the final minutes count down before